The following review is intended for entertainment purposes and targeted for adult fans of the series. Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another Power Rangers Dino Fury Second Era episode review. Void Knight has awoken his lady love, but she may just have the ambition of revenge over travel plans on her mind. See what that has to do with a rock concert as we take a look at the 6th episode of Dino Fury Second Era, Jam Session.
Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel.
Yeah, and make sure you got your notifications set up by hitting that little bell icon.
Right you. What he said was, you can consider checking us out on Patreon or Coffee at OrangeRangerVideos.
We start at Area 62, where we see that Santora snuck out of the room for a moment and grabbed a Sporix from the machine. Void Knight steps in, and Santora asks him why they're being so secretive. He says that they have to maintain an appearance of strength, because that's what the creatures he commands respect. Outside that room, he has to be Void Knight, that suit of armor. Santora says if they need strength, they have it right there with the Sporix, and asks him again to imagine the fantastic revenge they could take. But he again insists he doesn't want revenge, just to leave Earth. He steps back out to put the Sporix back, Slither explaining the Zord jammer is ready, but the Sporix evolves, and it's our old pal Doomsnake. Void Knight welcomes more muscle, but says this is Doomsnake's last chance. You know, with the Sporix, that's actually not the given it usually is, seeing as they're indestructible and all. At Buzz Blast, they're having a rock band called the Screaming Zombies on for a streaming show at 2 o'clock. Javi is nearby, practicing with an electric guitar, when his father, Warden Garcia, comes in. It's another new instrument for Javi, and what he calls experimentation, his dad calls being unfocused. Javi forgot the suit he's wearing to a medal ceremony for his dad that day at 2 o'clock. Gee, the same time as the show. I wonder if that's gonna be a thing. When the warden leaves, 2 of the band members come over to compliment Javi's playing. But the band leader, a blue-haired dude named Blair, berates and insults them, telling them to get back to getting ready for the show. Javi asks why Blair talks to them that way, and he says leading a band is hard. Lots of times he asks for pancakes and gets flapjacks, and like his shirt says, he's a big enough fan to know the difference. Okay, so I actually decided to look into this because there was either something to this or it was a stupid joke, and in fact, I think it was actually both. It turns out there is a difference between pancakes and flapjacks. In the UK, British flapjacks are something like granola bars baked in a tray and cut into squares. But Pine Ridge is in the United States, and we use both terms interchangeably for pancakes.
I don't get it.
Anyway, what matters about that scene is that when he opened his jacket to show off that shirt, Blair revealed that he's wearing a light blue dino key on a necklace. He says he found it in a valley while filming a music video recently. Javi says it looks like those things the Rangers use, and hey, he could probably get it to the Rangers pretty easily. But Blair says finders keepers, because he's a punk rock prima donna. Back at the base, Javi's told the other Rangers about the key. Zato uses his powers to see the memory in Javi's mind and realizes it is the freeze key. And heroes, this key doesn't just activate a powerful battle armor. It doesn't just activate a Zord. It activates a Zord with a stand-up battle mode. Essentially, that would give the Rangers another Megazord. The Terra-free Zord can be the Rangers for the low price of getting the key from that rocker dude. But that has to wait as an alarm goes off. Void Knight is in the city with a Sporix beast. The Rangers head there, finding VK, Slither, Doomsnake, and the Machine. Void Knight calls some henchmen and tells Slither to activate the machine. It launches into the sky and grows. Zato calls for the Zords, but the signal is blocked, as Void Knight explains. Zato tries to fly to it with the hover key. Ion tries an elastolash. No good. Amelia points out that Doomsnake could grow at any time, and they don't have the Zords if it does. So Ollie uses the sleep key to knock the monster out, and the villains retreat. What can the Rangers do about Zords? Hey, as Ollie points out, Void Knight doesn't have the data on the Terra Freeze Zord, so if they could get that one, that Zord would work. Javi says he might need the Rangers' help to get that key. Outside Buzz Blast, Blair's guitarist comes to get him for sound check, but he's eating pancakes and says he'll come when he's good and ready. After he insults the guy's hair again, he says he's over this and quits. Then Javi shows up with Izzy and Zato morphed. Blair is such a D-bag, he asks them if they want an autograph. They explain about the key, and instead of instantly helping the defenders of the Earth, he decides to take advantage of the situation. If Javi plays in the live stream at 2, he'll give the Rangers the key. Javi doesn't really have a choice here, asking Izzy to tell their dad something came up at Buzz Blast. Mucus apparently learned how to read lips and knows this could ruin everything. She goes and tells Void Knight, who takes everyone to go find the new Zord before the Rangers do. But then Santora creeps out of the secret room, looks at the jukebox machine, and activates it.
That was a great scene.
Well, that's not entirely fair. The scene ends because we start going back and forth from the show to the medal ceremony. At the show, we see that Javi is really enjoying himself, and clearly he's talented as he learned this song, including a solo that impresses the other Rangers in, a few hours? Back at the ceremony, it ends and congrats all around, but Izzy pulls up the stream to check on Javi, and her dad sees, realizing what the emergency really was. He leaves in a huff. After the show, the Rangers congratulate Javi, and Blair gives him the key, saying it wasn't his style anyway. So that's why you were wearing it, and bribed Javi to... Anyway, mission accomplished. By the by, if you're expecting any sort of character redemption for Blair, we don't see him for the rest of the episode. Warden Garcia storms in and berates Javi for his music being more important than this once-in-a-career medal ceremony. Javi gives it right back, calling his dad a hypocrite because he wants his son to support him, but doesn't support him in return. He leaves with the other Rangers following. What happened next nearly made me fall off my chair. Jane walks over, and it's not comedy. At all. She's doing something useful. She tells the warden that stream was one of their most popular ever, and Javi was really one of the main reasons why. She gives him a tablet with the replay on it, and says he should really give it a look.
What are you talking about?
To be clear, I use that gag not in confusion, but shock. The Rangers head to where Solon said the Zord is and see a glowing rock face. What is it with these Zords getting trapped inside mountains? But then Void Knight and his pals show up, and with 5 villains teleporting in, they really kind of felt like an evil team of Rangers. Zato uses the hyper key, but that really just brings him up near Void Knight's level, and even Ion coming over doesn't help. Javi and Izzy fight Doomsnake, but she sends him to go free the Zord. He uses the smash armor to start breaking away the wall. Meanwhile, Zato uses the corresponding key, activating the freeze armor, a light blue set of chest armor with a cape that doubles as a set of wings. The wings let him avoid Void Knight's attacks, and his slashes do freezing damage. Javi sends the Terra Freeze Zord to go wreck the Zord Jammer, and he gets back to the fight. The Jammer has defenses, but the Zord is able to freeze it. The Rangers get the upper hand in the fight, but Doomsnake tries to prove itself by getting back in, and gets blown up by Javi. It's just a bad day for the bad guys as the Sporix goes to Izzy again, and they retreat. Zato flies up with the Zord to attack the Jammer again. He activates the Terrazord's battle mode, giving the Rangers a fancy new light blue Unizord. And I have to say, even during Soldier, I found it a very creative bit of engineering to make a flying Zord that can turn into an entire body-shaped battle mode. Zato tells the Rangers to just wait till they see what this Zord can do, and then freezes the entire city. Okay, that's gotta hurt some people, even in the short term. Short? Well, not even a fight, really. They just destroy the Jammer with a freeze strike. And then, yes, the city thaws. The villains return to Area 62 and realize that someone has activated the Sporix machine. Void Knight goes into the secret room and sees Santora standing back in the chamber she was in before. No water this time. She transforms and then teleports out. And now it's time for me to address this. Yes, once again, Power Rangers is teasing me with the ToQger adaptation it's never going to make, as Santora's monster form is Madame Noir, one of ToQger's villains. She has absorbed a great deal of power from the Sporix, revealing she is telekinetic and telezappy from the hands. She says she is now more than Santora. She is now Void Queen. At Buzz Blast, Javi is getting all the praise for the good day he had when his dad walks back in. He says he watched the performance and realized that music is more than just a distraction for Javi. Javi was right about him not being supportive, but that changes today. For his part, Javi says that before today, his dad was kinda right. He was just playing around with music. But doing it for real, performing on stage, now he wants to make it a career. And his dad is behind him doing that 100%. Let's balance these scales before they get too heartwarmed. Episode 6, Jam Session. Pros, another great family episode with the other half of the Garcia family. Growing contrast between Void Knight and Santora, and the really cool, pun intended, Terra-free Zord. Cons, yet another oopsie-daisy Sporix beast, Ranger fights are feeling like an afterthought to the story, and shocking reveals before heartwarming finales. 4 on the floor, 4 in a row. Jam Session gets 4 scales out of 5. It's interesting that we tend to get Garcia family episodes back to back. This time, we get a couple of really good ones. The previous showed us things between Izzy and her mother. Now we see Javi and his father. It ties into previous conflict and resolves in a really nice way. What I especially liked is the sense that even at the end, Warden Garcia wasn't entirely wrong. He wasn't being supportive of his son, but Javi wasn't dedicating himself to anything in particular. As we saw the difference between Javi and Warden Garcia, we also start to see a growing rift between Void Knight and our new Void Queen, Santora. Void Knight is clearly growing concerned with Santora's fixation on power and revenge, and she finally took matters into her own hands with a method we didn't even know was possible, directly absorbing power from the Sporix. Is she a Sporix beast now? I guess we'll see. And I've been anticipating this Zord because it's just really neat. Light blue is high on my list of favorite colors, and I mentioned how I like forming a fully battle mode Zord from something like a pterodactyl that flies. We've only gotten a taste of what it can do thus far, but this Zord is one of my favorites in this line. Once again, we're stalling on answering the question about monsters. Santora snatches a Sporix, and it just so happens to evolve again. It was creative reusing a monster, since most of the Sporix in the machine are monsters that we've seen, but I just realized this leads into the next con, so let's get into it. The actual parts where the Rangers fight a monster to save the day feel like they're fading into obscurity. We have a really strong, ongoing villain serialization with Santora, and when you factor in the usual real-life plot, the actual stuff we're watching the show for starts to feel like the C plot. That's a little troubling, and I wonder if it's going to balance out. Speaking of balance, expert level segue, the end of this episode felt the wrong way around. When Void Queen was revealed, and then we cut to Buzz Blast, I rolled my eyes because I knew what was coming. I ended up liking that scene, but I feel like if we had gotten that first and ended with Void Queen's reveal, the ending would have had a stronger punch. But we're staying strong here, another nice one in a run of really good episodes. Let's see if we get a fifth 4 out of 5 in a row by taking a peek at the 7th episode of Dino Fury Second Era, New Leaf. Santora convinces Void Knight and Wicked Squash Blight to contaminate the city's water supply and turn all the residents into trees. That is going to do it for another Power Rangers Dino Fury Second Era episode review. Thank you, heroes, so much as always for watching. Now that the video's done, you can let me know what you thought of this episode, as well as my review of it, down in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure you smack that thumbs up button to let me know that you enjoyed this video. If you're looking for a way to support my channel financially that isn't Patreon or Ko-fi, you can check out my Teespring store, Orange Ranger Videos. Get yourself some shirts, some socks, some masks, etc., etc. And if you don't have the time to sit and watch these videos, you'd like to listen to them on the go, in the car, at the gym, etc., etc., check me out on Anchor.fm, which also posts over to Spotify, at Orange Ranger Audio. Until next time, heroes, salute! May the power protect you. Baked in a tray and cut into squares. But they... wait, what? Short... well, not even a fight, really. They just destroy a jammer. The previous showed us things about... when Void Queen was revealed, and then we cut to Buzz Blast, I rolled my eyes because I knew what was coming. I'm doing that take again because my throat won't behave. Speaking of balance, expert level segue, the end of this episode felt the wrong way around. When Void Knight was revealed... Now that the video's done, you can let me know what you thought of this, as well as my... the fact that I can't do the freaking thing again.